Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Energy Encounter with the Zohar. Today, we will be at verse 128 of volume 20, which is Pinchas. And before we begin, let's invite in the Kabbalistic lineage of the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rabbi Shlag, Rabbi Brandwein, the Riyah Kodesh, the Ramchal, Rabbi Tafon, Rav Aram Mazulai, Rav Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, Rav Kolona Shapira Piasetzna, the Baal Shem Tov, Rav Shum Bar Yochai and all the students, Rav Mordechai of Chernobyl, One Soul with Yosef Tzadik in Shechem. Today is the 20th day of Tammuz of the month of Cancer, and it's also the anniversary of elevation of Rav Natan Netta Hanover. So we have his assistants also. As we connect to these verses, by the way, the name of this article is Behold, I give to him my covenant of peace. So this is a great opportunity for us to connect to this energy of peace. And so we want to have a consciousness of connecting to that energy and ending the war in Israel, the safe return of all the hostages, the protection for all the chayalim trying to free those hostages. Also, ending the war between Russia and the Ukraine. Let's also connect to the energy of healing for all those people we know who need healing. Chana bat Rivka. Let's just consciously think about those people that we know who need healing. This portion of Pinchas is a huge opportunity for healing. Sarah bat Yehudit, Sarah bat Malka. Let's also send out energy of assistance to those souls that are in the process of elevating. Also, let's connect to the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone with human decency, protection from the energy of evil eye and evil speech, and removing negativity and chaos from our world. Okay, verse 128. Would someone like to volunteer to read English for us today? Anybody? Maria, can you read English for us today?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay. So we're at verse 128. Adar hahu tula de mil kadmin, the azla go beta, kmo de yukna de barnash, nafal al an poi Rabbi Abba. Am Rabbi Yossi, ad karna divhai atra chamena le Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Yom echad hava kaim bahai duchta. V'hava amar hachi, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, be'at yud ze'era.
128.
Let's
right?
go slow.
128, correct?
Yes, correct.
The same shade returned again and walked around the house like an image of a man.
Okay, so what exactly does this mean? What does that mean? A shade. So this is, the Zohar is self-explanatory. It's returning because there's an earlier section apparently where that entity originally arrives. But there's an entity that Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Abba notice in the house that they're in. It's an image of a man. It's not a man. It's an image. It's an entity. It's a spiritual entity. So our first takeaway from this is let's just understand that in our world, there are those entities that are here that are manifesting physically. And of course, there are entities that are going around. We don't see them. You're never alone. Energetically, you're certainly never alone, even though it may appear to be that way. And the other thing is it gives us the ability, connecting the section, to be more sensitized to the energy in any room, in any place we go to. We want to be sensitive to that energy because it tells us what we're dealing with or what potential chaos there may be. So then what happens? Maria?
Rabbi Abba fell on his face.
So
Rabbi
his
Yoshi,
reaction to seeing the shadow walking around the house is he fell on his face. Like he had a very visceral reaction to that. And that's okay. No judgment here, of course, but it kind of reminds us that when things are going on, we don't all react to the same circumstances in the same way. And we want to be okay with that. Like, for whatever reasons, this really hit Rabbi Abba in a different way than we'll see it hits Rabbi Yossi. And we just want to be okay with it. We're all going to have different reactions. They're all okay. And how does Rabbi Yossi?
Okay. Rabbi Yoshi said, I recall that in this spot, I saw Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair.
Yair. So who was Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair? That was Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar. That Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair was his father-in-law. So Rabbi Yossi is sensing that in this place, he remembers seeing Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. So there's a significance to this space. So again, just reminding us that there's significance to every space, and some are more significant than others. And what's the significance of this? Continue.
One day he was standing on this spot and asked as follows. In the verse, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest. Why is Pinchas here spelled with the addition of the small letter Yud?
Okay, so there's a lot packed into that line. Again, we're verse 128 of volume 20. Portion is this week is Pinchas. So what the Zohar is telling us is that Rabbi Yossi remembers being in the spot and seeing Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, and that the day that he was standing on that spot, he posed the following question. So they're connecting to the soul of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, because they've returned to the same spot and they are remembering, they're connecting to the spiritual wisdom that he shared at that place. Again, this is underscoring for us the importance of where we are and what goes on. And so at one level, that's what's going on. They're remembering that. And perhaps that's why there is this entity walking around the house. We don't know yet, but so we can assume that there's some kind of relationship there. Now we get to the actually object of what they were talking about. There's a verse in this week's portion, and where the name Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, again, this portion is named after Pinchas. When the word Pinchas shows up, it shows up with a yud in the name. Pinchas is not spelled with a yud, typically. It's spelled Peinun Chet Samech. 4 letters that sound out Pinchas. But in the Torah portion, where in that verse cited in Bamidbar 25, chapter 25, verse 11, when Pinchas's name shows up there, it shows up with an extra yud, Pei yud, Nun Chet Samach. Why? And not only does it show up with the yud, it shows up with a small letter yud. So there's an extra letter, and it's a different font size. Now, this is something that's not often discussed, but there is one primary font size in the 5 books of Moses, in the Torah, in the scroll. Let's call it a medium font size, just because it's going to be relative. There's a standardized font size. We're going to say that's medium. But there are also situations when letters show up undersized, a small font size, and there are also situations where letters show up in a large font size. There's actually 3 font sizes. And we're not even getting to the spaces, because there's a very significant space in this week's portion. And while we're talking about it, the space occurs after the word magefa, which means plague, because the plague ended. So in this week's reading, tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, when they read that first portion and they come to the word Pinchas and there's a space, that space is energy of healing, because that's where Pinchas ended the plague. And so Kabbalists recognize this portion as a portion for healing, and that particular spot as an extra dose of healing, essentially. So this week is all about the energy of healing. And during that reading, we want to be, listen, the whole week, but during that reading in particular, and of course, during the reading of the Zohar, because we're connecting to the energy of Pinchas, we're connecting to the energy of healing and protection, which is one reason why a lot of us carry around a small copy of the Zohar of Pinchas. So we're always, wherever we go, connecting to the energy of healing and protection. That's among the most significant aspects of this week's portion. So, okay. So just to connect with what exactly this first paragraph is telling us. Rabbi Abba and Rabbi Yossi are in a home. We don't know whose home it is. They see a on the house. It's a little intimidating. Of course it is. It's some kind of spiritual entity. That's not in human form, although it looks like it is. So it's an energy level that is presenting itself from the world beyond the physical realm. And in that context, Rabbi Yossi remembers, I remember being here with Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. And I remember what he taught us, what he brought up. So that's what's going on. And so what we're going to end up doing is unpacking the significance of that verse that's cited and why there's that. And so for us, this is, digging down to a level in the Zohar, explaining what's going on in the 5 books of Moses, and also helping us to understand the significance of the letters that are in the Torah and the opportunities that those letters present us in terms of what we're connecting to. Remember, we live in a physical world. It's about 1% of reality. Kabbalistically, there's another 99% that's out there that we don't know anything about. We don't perceive with the 5 senses. But we get opportunities to connect with that realm and to bring in energy of healing and protection and order, removal of chaos, removal of negativity. We get the opportunity to channel energy from the flawless universe, the Garden of Eden. And the Torah is one of the primary sources we use to do that. Okay, let's continue. Any questions so far? Okay, verse 129. Begin detrain alfin beitin rishimin, alphabeta de advan ravravan, the alphabeta de advan zeira, advan ravravan, inun ba'alma da'ate, the advan zeiran, inun ba'alma tata, yud zeira brit kaima kadisha, kevan de kane pinchas al brit da, itosaf be yud, zeira raza divrit da. Maria?
And he answers, because there are 2 sets of recorded alphabets, one alphabet of large letters and one of small letters.
So
And
the Zohar again is letting us know. It's saying it's 2 sets of recorded alphabets, but it's really about the alphabet. It's the same alphabet, but a large font and a small font. In contrast with the default font, which I'm calling medium size. So remember, every letter in the Torah scroll is important. There isn't a single letter that isn't of significance. So it's an extra letter. We need to ask the question, why is there an extra letter? And everything is the same size font, except there are exceptions. So when there's a different size font in the scroll, we have to ask, why is it a different size? Did the scribe just kind of get distracted? No, that's not what happened. So what's going on? What is the extra message? What is the extra consciousness? What's the extra energy that we have an opportunity to connect with? Remember, when we connect with the Torah reading on Saturday morning, we're connecting with the flawless universe, which means it's an opportunity to remove chaos from our world. That's the baseline. But these are extras. Pinchas is the extra with Pinchas is opportunities for healing. But what about the extra yud? Let's continue.
And he explains, the large letters belong to the world to come and are in the aspect of Binah, which is called the world to come. While
Okay, so the Zohar is telling us large letters connect us to the level of Binah, which we know is the world to come, which on the tree of life, where there are 10 sfirot, Binah is left column, third one down. And we know that to be the realm of fulfillment, the world to come. Okay, let's continue.
While the small letters belong to the world and are of
To
the
this
aspect
world,
of
to this
Malchut,
world, yes. Yeah.
to this world and are of the aspect of Malchut, which is called this world.
Okay, so there are multiple worlds. Our world is referred to as Malchut. The Ari, the greatest Kabbalist of the last 500 years, refers to our world of Malchut as the realm of Asiyah, the world of action. So the small letters connect us to this world. Okay, so large letters connect us to the flawless universe, the world to come, the level of Binah, and the small letters connect us to this world, also known as Malchut. Okay, begs the question. What do the medium-sized letters connect us to? Anyone want to take a guess? The medium letters connect us to Zeran Pin. So I have Bina, one of the 3 sfirot at top. Then I have 6 sfirot in the middle. And then I have the realm of Malchut, the last sfira, our realm. Those 6 middle sfirot are referred to as Zeran Pin. All the energy from the creator, from the universe, flows through Zeran Pin and finds its way into Malchut, the realm of manifestation. So when we read the Torah, we're connecting to the level of Zeran Pin. And by virtue of that, we're creating a connection between those 6 sfirot and our realm. So that's the whole thing. We're removing chaos because we're channeling the energy of order. We're channeling that energy into our realm. That's the significance of Shabbat, and that's the significance also of reading from the 5 books of Moses on Shabbat morning. We're connecting to Zeran Pin. We're connecting to the upper realm. So what the Zohar is telling us is that that small yud in Pinchas's name is connecting us to Malchut, the realm of manifestation. Okay. Now we're going to get a little deeper. So now we know what the small letter is about. But why the yud? Go ahead.
Here lies the reason for the small letter Yud, which is a sign of the Holy Covenant, namely Malchut.
What is the Holy Covenant?
The agreement that we have with the Creator.
Yes, it is. What is that agreement?
Well, it's our commitment of my commitment with God to follow what He asked me to be like the light.
Right, exactly right. We came here, we made a deal. This whole realm is all about an agreement to come here and do work, to finish the job of creation, to perfect the world. Some circles is referred to as Tikkun Olam, correcting the world. At Mount Sinai, we took over for the angels in finishing creation. It's not done. Look around. It's far from a perfect world. It would appear. We're probably closer than we realize. Maybe that's why there's so much chaos. It's always darkest before the dawn. Perhaps there's so much apparent chaos because we're getting closer to completing that work, to perfecting the world. But that's what this realm is all about. We're doing our individual work, manifesting our souls, and as a world, we're doing our communal work to change the world, to bring about a world of peace, of healing, of immortality, of understanding, of treating everyone with human decency. That's the job. That's what we're working on. Okay. Let's keep going.
Since Pinchas was zealous for this covenant, a small Yud was added to him, which is the secret of the covenant, namely Malchut.
What did Pinchas do? to demonstrate his zealousness for the covenant. It was actually in last week's portion. Here's what he did. Going back a couple of weeks, Balak enlisted the assistance of Bilam to curse the children of Israel. They were unable to curse the children of Israel because when we're aligned with our work with the covenant, we have energy of protection. It's like if you're in the Starship Enterprise and the force fields are up, no Klingon missiles are going to penetrate. You're protected. We're protected. When we are aligned with our soul, we have energy of protection. When we're aligned with our soul's purpose, we have energy of protection. And so as a community, the children of Israel were protected. They were aligned with their soul's purposes, both individually and communally. So Balak and Bilam were not able to curse the children of Israel. They hatched a different plan, which manifested last week. And that is that they enticed the children of Israel to sin. Not important right now what they did to sin, but they were seduced by the women of a particular tribe. That's the plan that Bilam and Balak came up with. But basically, it was enticing them, just like almost the snake enticed Eve in the Garden of Eden. And so they sinned, and so a plague broke out. There were two primary leaders of that sinning, and one was the head of the tribe of Simon, of Shimon. And so what Pinchas did was he picked up a spear and he ended the life of the leader of the tribe of Shimon and also the woman with who he was sinning with. That's what happened. Basically, it's a double homicide. And the plague ended immediately. So we don't look at it like it's double homicide. We look at it as he ended the sinning that was taking place. It was a very provocative act. I'm not going into all the details, but it was a clearly very provocative act rejecting the Creator. And so that's what he did. He demonstrated zealousness and he put his life on the line because his life was threatened. And as the story goes, he actually died momentarily before he was reinfused with additional souls. And so he becomes this huge figure and savior of the children of Israel because he puts his life on the line and he puts his life at risk. So he literally puts his life on the line to save the children of Israel. That's what he did. That's what we're referring to. And for that reason, a small yud is added to his name because his act was certainty beyond logic. It did not make sense at all what he was doing. It did not make sense at all. He had a level of certainty in the Creator that everything would be okay, even though he's putting his life putting his life on the line. And so for us, this also strengthens our ability to have certainty beyond logic. In other words, logic only what do we have certainty about in our lives? Not a lot of things. Pretty sure the sun's going to go set tonight at a certain time and rise again tomorrow. Certain things, we don't have certainty about a lot of things. There's a lot of uncertainty. And we approach that certainty through our logical mind. The problem is that the logical mind is the tree of knowledge and good and evil. There's good and there's bad, and I'm trying to navigate things as best as possible. That's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. If you're connected to the tree of life, you understand that my soul is eternal. And everything that's going on in this world isn't happening to me. It's happening for me to assist me on the journey that I agreed to come down here to work on, to more fully manifest my soul, to remove the blockages that stand in the way of not manifesting my soul, to align myself more closely with my soul and manifest my soul. That's That's what I'm here to do. So that is certainty beyond logic, because it's not logical to do those things. That is certainty beyond logic. And we want to connect to that, because when you connect to certainty beyond logic, you open yourself up to a very joyful life experience. There's less uncertainty. And so the other aspect of this, which you really have to unpack to understand this, is our ability to connect to, more strongly to, certainty beyond logic. Any questions about that? We're in the English for verse 129. Okay, Maria. Oh, I think we just finished it.
130.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's 130. Behu shata amar kuchabrichu ma abid im Moshe brita mi Moshe have bechala dile have genaihu lemehav le laachara bela data uruta de Moshe lav yautu shari kuchabrichu ve'amar leMoshe Moshe Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen amar le Moshe Rish bed shin ayim mahu amarle antu demasrat nafshach al Yisrael dala yishtetzun min alma b'chama zimnin v'yu heshiv et chamati me'al b'nei Yisrael v'gomer amar Moshe ma'at ba'et mini ha-kola dilach.
At that time, the Holy One, blessed be he, said, "What can I do with Moses? For this covenant came from Moses, and the bride, who is Mahut, is his."
Okay, so it looks like the Creator's having a conversation with himself. Is he though? No, he's not. The Zohar is demonstrating the energy of the situation in a way that we can relate as physical beings. Because we have a conversation with ourselves. This is a conversation taking place in our head all the time. By the way, this is an opportunity to remind ourselves that we should be having a conversation in our head with the Creator all the time, or as much as possible. Talk to the Creator. Ask the Creator for help. All day long, you can do that. And so we're connecting to that energy of positive self-talk as a Zohar describes a situation that's described in the way of the Creator having a conversation in the Creator's consciousness. Positive self-talk is incredibly important, and even more so when we're actually talking to the Creator and asking with Creator's help. So what does the Creator say to himself? Well, what do I do with Moses? Because the covenant came from Moses, meaning Moses is the guy that went up to Mount Sinai, created this whole covenantal relationship with the Creator, that we're going to complete the perfection of the world. He's the guy. So he is forging that connection with Malchut. He is the one who's created this supernal connection, or is championing this supernal connection. He's the greatest soul that ever lived, arguably the most elevated soul that ever lived, half man, half angel. But the Creator's got an issue he's got to deal with. Keep going.
It is not nice to give her Mahut to another unless Moses knows about it and desires it.
All right, so listen, so here we are, we're putting this extra yud, small yud in Pinchas' name, we're giving him this connection to Malchut, because he was zealous for the covenant. But like, what do I do about Moses? Okay, now, really, it looks like the Creator's struggling with this. The Creator's not struggling with this. The Zohar is explaining to us the potential for struggle. But what the Zohar is also telling us is how deep the compassion for the Creator goes relative to us. Well, not us, Moses. Even more so for us, because we're not as elevated as Moses is. So it's demonstrating for us this energy of compassion. And so if we want to be like the Creator, as Maria said, part of the covenant is being like the Creator. If we want to be like the Creator, and this is the way the Creator looks at things, surely we should be this compassionate too. I'm not saying we should not have boundaries. We do need to have boundaries. But we also need to demonstrate a level of compassion. And so here we're connecting to deep levels of compassion for people and honoring them where they're at and honoring them where they're at in their lives. Incredibly important in the work that we do on ourselves. Okay, so what's he decide?
It is not proper. The Holy One, blessed be he, started by saying to Moses.
Okay, so it's not okay to share it without Moses knowing about it. So it's like, so next logical step is Creator's going to have a conversation with Moses. What does he say?
Moses, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest.
That's the verse. That's the verse. Moses, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest.
Moses asked him.
So wait a second.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So he says the line. He's not asking anything, but he just says that line. That's why that line is there. Now we understand in a much deeper way why that line is there. It's demonstrating compassion. Then what happens?
Moses asked him, Master of the universe, what of him?
Moses says, "Why? What of it? Literally, what? Okay, Pinchas, yeah. What about him? Okay, go ahead."
The Holy One, blessed be he, answered him, you are the one who has given your souls for Israel a number of times so that they should not disappear from the world.
So
Well,
so the Creator is just reminding Moses about all the times he has put his life on the line for the people of Israel, so that we, the children of Israel, do not disappear from the world. Because there were multiple times where we messed up significantly, and the Creator wanted to take us out, and Moses put his life on the line. Okay? Continue.
while he, Pinchas, has returned my wrath away from the children of Israel.
Yes, has turned my wrath away. So the children of Israel messed up with the sin that we just discussed, and Pinchas, because he was so zealous for the covenant, took the leader of the tribe of Simon out with a spear together with the woman that he was sinning with. And putting his life on the line, because as the story goes, the tribe of Shimon wanted to kill him for taking out their leader. There's a medrash that apparently discusses that. So this is the conversation that the Creator's having with Moses. Continue.
Moses said, what do you want of me? Is not everything yours? And if you want to cause Mahut to rest on him, who can tell you what you should do?
Wow. Does Moses feel threatened by this? No. Moses is like, it's your deal, Creator. Whatever, if you want to do that, you're fine. You should do that. You should do that. Is not everything yours? It's not mine. So again, like this is for us, like the things that we hold on to. You know, Michael Berg and Monica Berg this week in their weekly podcast, Michael shared the metaphor of looking at ourselves like we're a window, like we are just channeling light into the world. We're not holding it. We're channeling light. We don't have hang-ups. We're channeling light. We're just channeling light. Yeah, we have gifts. No, those are God-given that we're supposed to share with the world. That's a big part of the energy of this week. And Moses is saying, it's not up to, I'm just a channel. It's all yours. You decide what goes on. Well, didn't the Creator know that? Yes. But the Creator is having a conversation with Moses about it because he's giving Moses the opportunity to demonstrate the humility that he has. Moses, we are taught, was the humblest person to ever walk the face of the earth. And we see the humility demonstrated here in saying to the Creator, hey, this is not everything yours. Meaning, this is all yours. I'm just your servant. I'm just the window. I'm just channeling the light. I'm doing your work. And so it's a great reminder to us about the work that we're here to do and to not have personal agenda and to let go of the things that we're hung up on. And we get huge amount of reinforcement for that consciousness. And so it's an opportunity for us to look at our lives. Where are we holding on to things? Where are we saying, well, this isn't really of the creator, it's mine? There's nothing that's mine. So great opportunity for a little self-audit on not being hung up, on just letting go of things, letting them play out the way they're destined to play out. I don't control. I have very little control. The only thing I really control is my consciousness, and that's very difficult. So here we're connecting to the energy of compassion that the Creator demonstrates for Moses. And in turn, we're also connecting to this deep energy of humility that Moses possessed. And so it's a great opportunity for us to connect to those very enlightened mindsets, consciousness. Any questions or observations? Okay, let's take one more verse, 131. Amalei haikol didachi emalei tishrei begabe. Amar Moshe habeliba shalim tehe legabe. Amalei ema ant befumach va'arim kalach bi'uta hineni noten lo et briti shalom. Moshe hava amar hineni noten lo v'gomer di'ilu kuchabrichu. Havalei lememar lachen emor lon hineni noten lo et briti shalom. Aval lo lakativ elo lachen emor bitema dit abrat min Moshe. La ela gevutzina da adliku mina da yahiv va'ane v'dala itgara mina. Maria?
Said the Holy One, blessed be he to Moses. Here it is all yours. You tell Pinchas that my Shekhinah will rest within him.
So
Moses,
so the Creator is telling Moses, tell Pinchas that my Shekhinah, this supernal feminine energy aspect of manifestation, will be with Pinchas. Okay.
Moses said, in all sincerity, let Malchut be with him. Said to the Holy One, blessed be he. You tell him yourself, and in a loud voice, that you are handing the Shekhinah over to him, willingly and sincerely. Does the
Okay,
verse?
So what happens is he's telling him that you are giving over this aspect of the Shekhinah, of the Creator, to Pinchas. Will Moses have less? No. Because things of a supernal nature are unlimited. You could read this and think, well, Moses is like, giving his, giving something away. He's not giving something away. So again, this reminds us that when we're talking about aspects of this world, which come from the supernal upper realm, they're unlimited. They're unlimited. Go ahead.
Does verse wherefore say, you say it willingly. Behold, I give to him my covenant of peace. Moses started to say, behold, I give to him, for if it was referring to the holy blessed one, what should have been said was, wherefore say to him, behold, I give to him my covenant of peace.
So interesting. It should have said, therefore, the Creator is saying to Moses, say to him, behold, I give you my, but it didn't say that. It said, wherefore say. So why wasn't the him there? That's the question. And the Zohar is going to explain why.
But this is not written, but rather, wherefore say, without to him, the meaning being that Moses was commanded to say it. Should you suggest that the Shekhinah was completely removed and taken away from Moses and given to him, you would be wrong. For it is like a candle that is used to light something else. The one gains the benefit of the light while the other does not diminish.
So as I explained, it's just like a candlelight. When I take my candle and I light your candle, I don't have less light. We have twice the light. And so the other and we're going to wrap with this. The other idea is to think about not only letting go, but think about when you share your love, your friendship, your companionship, your understanding, your compassion, your benevolence, your humility. You don't have less. We have more. And so this is the way we want to go into this week, this weekend. This is the power of this week's connection is to let go, to get out of the way, and just to allow all these blessings to flow through us and to share with the world. Okay, everybody, we'll wrap with that. Shabbat Shalom. Love you all. Thank you all for joining us.
Shabbat Shalom.